So not overly complicated, okay? You guys saw that I was using a feeler gauge set that I have, these super long ones. They make better ones. There's some with the 45-degree angle, which I also have. I just didn't have a 4/1000 feeler gauge in the mix, so I went with the super long ones that I have that I would typically use for like measuring true flatness on cylinder heads, decks, things like that. So I had a 4/1000. I wanted to get 4/1000 out of it. So that's what I was looking for, so that's why I use the super long ones. They do have some though with a built-on handle and their individual feeler gauges. These things are nice, man. I think Lang makes them. If I can find the Amazon affiliate link, I'll put it down below in the description for you guys. But I'm looking to actually get the set because I'm starting to see more and more Hondas with the 2-liter CRV engine come in. All right, that being said, there's also another special tool out there. I'll throw a little picture down here in the corner. I have the 10mm with the built-in flathead, but with this particular CRV, I actually needed a 12mm with the built-in flathead, and they make both, but I just don't have the other one. So I think I might end up doing that. Why would I get the special tool? It helps with expedience, okay? You're not sitting there with an elbow-style offset box end wrench with a screwdriver trying to manipulate back and forth. You can just kind of poke and tweak and whatever, and everything kind of stays the same. So I like that. In the video, you would have noticed that as I was going through, taking my measurements, I was snugging it up by the finger. Then I was tightening it with the elbow-style box end. And then when I finally feel like I had a good feeler gauge going in and out, and I wasn't going past spec, then I would torque it down to the 18 foot-pounds that it was required, and then I would double check. I would verify that my feeler gauge still went through and the bigger size is different. This is important because if you're torquing it down the way that I am, it might move. And if it moves and it opens up, there's a good chance that a bigger feeler gauge would go in. You might be out of spec. So you always want to double and triple check yourself when you're adjusting lash on these Honda style engines. Now when I was rotating the engine over, you can rotate it counterclockwise. The book says to rotate it counterclockwise. We started at TDC with cylinder number 1, then we moved to, what was it, cylinder number 3, and then we moved to cylinder number 4, and then the last one we finished up with, which was all the way to the right, we were at cylinder number 2. So not too overly complicated of a system, and in fact, I recommend when you're adjusting lash, do the intake and exhaust for that cylinder both at the same exact time. Don't do just intake and then come back and do just exhaust. Do the intake, do the exhaust, and go all the way down as it tells you to, and then you should be good to go when it's all said and done. Another little thing that I'll mention here is that when you're actually getting ready to adjust the lash, you want to do this on a cold engine. You don't want to do it when it's warm. The book will tell you to do it when it's cold. There are some engines out there, though, where you're going to have to do it when the engine's warm. But with this particular engine, you want to do it when it's cold. So obviously let it set for a while, right? Then when you want to go to adjust timing, which we didn't really get into too much, and I didn't get a chance to actually showcase it, there is on the passenger side, just below the DLC connector on these Honda CRVs, is a little blue connector with 2 wires going into it. You disconnect that, you take 2 jumper wires and you jump it. The engine light will flash or whatever, and you just want to make sure that that red mark and white mark are in visible sight and that you're lined up with the red mark. If you're not, you're going to have to loosen up the 3 12mm bolts on the distributor and either retard or advance it as need be. And then once you actually get to that red line, then you can tighten them all down. You should be good to go. Fairly simple process. I think this is another reason why tuners like this style of engine, especially when it comes to Honda as far as an upgrade is concerned. And let me tell you one last little thing before we go. There is a flat rate trick to this, okay? You don't have to take all the timing cover stuff off and the pulleys and all the belts. You can flat rate it. You can slip the top belt off, and when you're all done, so long as you have your paint marks lined up and you didn't need to replace the timing belt, you can just slide the belt back on. It sounds easier than it is. You do have to manhandle it. You do got to put some finger strength behind it. But so long as you're lined up on both cams, you should be able to just slide it right back on, back into position, and it shouldn't mess with timing whatsoever. So this is all I got for this video, guys. Look, I hope it helped some of you guys out there that are messing with the Honda CRV 2-liter. If it did, give me a thumbs up. If it didn't, I'm sorry. Leave a comment down below. Some other little tricks and tips for those Honda enthusiasts out there. As always, thanks for watching, and all Amazon affiliate links to the tools that we talked about today will be down in the description. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.